Hey, what's up? It's K-Man's Greatest Hits. This is Gold. It's another Wealth Wednesday. It's Dr. Doug and my buddies Joel Bodden and Lewis Cohen. Lewis, welcome back to The Rock. I know you were in the UK. Wealth Wednesday, the last Wednesday of every month. You have some great stuff this week, including investing warnings. You know, you're talking about when you choose someone to be able to financially invest for you. You hear all these horror stories all the time. I know there's some warnings and some red flags out there. Give us some of them.
Yeah, we want to give people some action points, things that people can take away and actually do, rather than just listen to us whittle on. Here we go. Before choosing a wealth manager, look to see how they're licensed, look to see how they're regulated, where their head office is, head count, things like this. Get to know the company you're going to do business with. Who are you taking investment advice from? Are they qualified? What sort of experience they have? Are they the right fit for you? Do you have affinity with that person? Can you ask them questions? Are you comfortable asking them questions? If you're not, that's a problem. You need to be comfortable with your investment advisor, okay? So that's a very important point. What else should you do? You should speak to more than one advisor, okay? There's many brokers and banks here in Cayman. Speak to multiple people to find the right fit for you. You should ask whether your assets are segregated.
What does that mean when you say that?
It's about who holds your money, who holds your cash. So, for example, with LOM, if anything happened to us, cash is segregated with a BNY Mellon, for example. So client assets are segregated and protected, okay? Cash and assets on cash accounts.
Okay.
So that's something that everyone should ask. If a firm assets are not segregated and a firm collapsed, then you lose your assets.
And you hear about that in the news, don't you?
You have. There was a case in Cayman many years ago, a few years ago now where that happened. So this is very important to ask about how your assets are segregated and how are they custodied. Those are the two words. How are they custodied and how are they segregated? That is what you want to know when choosing a broker. Do your own research, take notes or ask for information in writing when you speak to any advisor, okay? Take that away with you. Look at the internet. It's a powerful tool in your arsenal to do your research, etc. If someone says, look, I recommend you do this, basically get it in an email, take it away, do your own independent research, and then you can make an informed decision, okay? You shouldn't be relying on anybody. Even if I give advice, I always recommend to people, look, take that away, have a think, speak to, your partner or whatever. You need to be comfortable and you need to do your own homework and understand. If you don't understand, you shouldn't be doing it, okay? That is a fact. Now, in terms of other things you should do as well, passwords. Everyone always uses the same password but different abbreviations of it. Do not do that, okay? That is a bad idea. You should ask whether your institution has two-way authentication, mobile app, maybe have Face ID. Have a look at this from a security point of view and make sure those things are in place because you want to protect the money that you've earned over the years, the money that you've invested. You don't want to, password 1 is not a good password,
right,
ladies and gentlemen.
Right.
Even if with a capital P
right,
and a hashtag at the end, it's not a good idea. I may have been guilty of that once or twice
me too.
over the years. The markets move fast, okay? And that does mean that opportunities are time sensitive. But don't allow this to push you into making a decision. Zoom out and look at investing over a full market cycle. If you're investing over a 5-year plus period, which you should do if you're investing in stocks, then time is not of the essence, okay? You have time to take a bit of breathing room. Don't be put under pressure. You need to make a decision now. Make a decision the next day. You may well lose on a move. You may well lose on a move. You may not. It's about investing over the long run and being consistent about how you top up the account and letting the power of compounding take care of you over a long-term period, a long-term horizon, which I'll talk about a little later, Doug.
Great.
Although risks may be mitigated or low, risk still exists with any investment. If it sounds too good to be true, it is too good to be true. Okay,
right.
So keep that in mind. All investments, doesn't matter what it is, have risk. It is known as the risk-free rate, government bonds, but there is like a very, very, very small risk there. I'm just using it as an example to show people that no investment is guaranteed, period. You can have some very low risk investments, treasuries are an example of that, but there is always something that could go wrong. Nothing is guaranteed. I do not like the word guaranteed.
Give your information and your platforms, please, Lewis Cohen, LOM Financial.
Yep, LOM.com. Go to contact us, reach out. If you want to call us, 233 0100. We're in Commander Bay. Drop in for a coffee, and we'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Segment 2 on the way. We've got it. Joel Bodden's on the way with a quick market update. Craziness in the world. How's it affecting the market? It's coming up. LOM Wealth Wednesday next. Hey, it's K-Man's Greatest Hits. It's gold. It is a Wealth Wednesday, and Joel Bodden's in the house here with the LOM. Joel, good morning, sir, and happy Wednesday to you, pal.
Hey, good morning, Doug. Thanks for having me again.
No problem. How about the quick market update? I love it. You're so knowledgeable about things that are going on. There's so many events, things happen in the world. We got multiple wars. We've got political stuff going on all over the place. Just a lot of drama, it seems like, every time you turn the news on. Tell us a little bit about how that's affecting the market and some of your thoughts with regards to that.
Yep, precisely, Doug. And, this is something we've been dealing with for decades over decades. In the past 3 years specifically, I think there's been a multitude of factors or events that have occurred that have really shook up the markets. Interest rates was a big one. You got a few wars going on. So in terms of events, I urge people, try not to be too fearful of events. Events will occur throughout our lifespan, and then my point behind that is don't allow events to make you too fearful of not making sound investment decisions. So speak to your advisor in terms of the events that are going on. And then we can sort of break that down as to how that would affect your portfolio or plan going forward. Like I said, it's a given. No one likes war, and it's really sad what's going on in those parts of the world. Yeah, everyone's concerned about that. But I think, like I said, for the long-term projection of your investment plan, don't be too fearful of that. Let's break down how it affects you.
What do you see in the fourth quarter coming up here? Interest rates hike possibly, and maybe a rally. What do you think?
Yeah, I know. I was very bullish on the equity markets. I think Lewis and I made a bet on that. I think I'm going to lose that bet. Yeah, I think the CPI and PPI data that came out recently were a bit stronger than expected. Obviously, that's not great for equity markets. We still have elevated interest rates. We're probably going to have another 25 come November. It's not guaranteed. But going back to a long-term time horizon for equities, I think this could be a buying opportunity, and whether you do that gradually would be my advice. Tailored, obviously, with your time horizon and risk tolerance. I think it all starts with a conversation. Consultations with us are free. We're willing to have multiple consultations or meetings with prospects or, clients that want to, or prospects that want to come on board. So, yeah, that would be the first step, is a conversation.
Give us your platforms and your info and LOM Financial. You guys are in Commander Bay, right?
That's correct. Yeah, you can reach us at 233-0100. That's 233-0100.
Born and raised here in the Cayman Islands, correct?
That's correct.
Cayman Proud, I love it. A quick market update. Good work. Joel Bodden and LOM Financial. It's our Wealth Wednesday. We're cooking with gas today. I love it. Investing know-hows. Lewis Cohen and some final words from Mr. Bodden coming up next in our final segment on a Wealth Wednesday with gold. Hey, it's LOM's Wealth Wednesday. It's gold. It's Dr. Doug, our buddies Joel Bodden from LOM Financial, and Lewis Cohen. Some investing know-how, things that you should ask yourself and do.
Before investing, ask yourself, what do you know? And I'm not talking about your investment knowledge per se. I'm talking about your financial circumstances and objectives. What can I afford to invest? What are my outgoing expenses? Do I have a financial cushion? Meaning, if you lose your job, have 2 to 3 months put by in the bank or a money market just to have there to supplement yourself until you find a new job. Okay, that's financial prudency. Okay, what are my objectives? What do I want to achieve, and why do I want to achieve that? Asking yourself why can help put things in perspective for you. Well, I have whenever we do consultations, one of my favorite questions I ask is simply why. You let clients, tell you about what they want to do. You ask them why. Sometimes they can't answer that, and then we figure out that actually what they're looking to actually achieve is something a little bit different, because they don't necessarily need to get that more growth, that extra kicker of growth. They actually need to guarantee a little bit more of an income for themselves. Okay, so looking to try and generate some cash flow, whether it's by dividends or interest payments, etc. So asking yourself why is actually a really important question everyone should ask themselves, especially when it comes to finalizing an investment decision. Okay, it helps put things into perspective. Risk. How much risk is too much risk? You should have a consultation with a qualified advisor. For example, if you have growth as an objective, there's a difference between growth and speculation, for example. If you're speculating on earnings just because you have a gut feeling, that is gambling, that's speculation. Yes, people can misconstrue that with growth, but really, growth is achieved over a 5-year horizon. What sort of risk are you actually looking to take on? What is your attitude to risk, your ability to take on risk? Okay. If you speculate and it goes wrong and you lose, can you absorb that? This is a very important question every investor should ask themselves. Okay. And moving on from that, I believe quite nicely, is diversification. It's not just about buying stocks. There are many different asset classes out there, including bonds, fixed income. We're seeing safe yields around 6% here, depending on what your horizon is.
Wow.
1-year bonds, you can get around 6% here net.
Yeah.
And they're, not too risky. They're, low risk, A+ rated bonds. But there are opportunities out there to get some, what I would say, chunky yields. And, not take on a huge amount of risk. So there are different assets out there, different games, in the park, as it were, other than stock. Largely been the case the last 10 years due to the 0% interest rate environment which we had. Now we do not have that, so there are other games in town. We provide a complete investment advice across numerous different asset classes for investors. We're here to try and help people achieve their financial goals. Okay, that is what we do, that is what we specialize in, and we like to think we're very good at it.
Hey, before we go, Mr. Bodden, final word from you on a Wealth Wednesday, sir.
Yeah, just in the last breath, with inflation both here in Cayman and abroad and all the events that are happening and that are bound to happen, we are here to shelter you and guide you through the storm. So just give us a call.
A lot of storm talk today. I love that.
233-0100 or stop by. Consultations are free. We're happy to see you.
Good to see you guys. My world is better with your friendship. Thank you, guys. LOM Financial, Lewis Cohen, Joel Bodden. Much love. Happy Wednesday.
Thank you very much, Doug. Always a pleasure.